really is no off-season, particularly when it comes to recruiting. And, well, this summer it's been even more of a crazy recruiting season. We're joined now by Toledo native Jeremy Birmingham to talk about college football recruiting. And, Jeremy, you have recently launched a new website, LettermanRow.com, veteran of several other websites covering Ohio State football, but now this new one. Tell us about LettermanRow.com.
Well, the real idea behind Letterman Row is that we want to focus on players who've been through it at Ohio State, guys that have worked through the program, who have earned their stripes, so to speak, and can really give readers and fans an opportunity to see things from a different perspective and understand what it's like to be an Ohio State player as opposed to just a guy who's behind a desk or sitting in his office writing about Ohio State football and doesn't really understand the game from a perspective that the players may. So the real goal for us is to get former players involved. We're working really closely with Evan Spencer, Zach Boren, Beanie Wells, former first-round NFL pick, and guys like that that have, again, they're in Columbus, they're local guys, but they want to give back to the school and give back to Ohio State. And the website, Letterman Row, is going to be an opportunity for them to do that and to really interact with readers in a different way.
And speaking of which, you're working on a story with a current NFL player, Billy Price, about some big news coming from Ohio State recruiting that just happened today.
Yeah, the Buckeyes received a commitment from basically their top overall offensive line target in 2019. His name is Harry Miller from Buford, Georgia. He's a pure center at the next level, where obviously Billy Price and Pat Elflein has just won the Remington Award at Ohio State. Billy's going to be nice enough to contribute a little opinion and to break down the film of the new commit and to see how he's going to fit into Ohio State's program. And that's the kind of stuff that we really think that Letterman Row will be able to provide that other sites out there aren't doing right now. There's a lot of great Ohio State sites, but again, it's not going to be the same sort of material because these are different guys doing it.
Now, every summer is hectic when it comes to college football recruiting, but this summer's been a little bit more crazy because of some changes in the recruiting calendar that's made official visits earlier in the process.
Yeah, official visits are ongoing right now. They've started back in April, and they will end at the end of June here coming up. And really, it's changed the entire dynamic of college football, where you used to have a program like Ohio State needing to sell a kid on an official visit during the fall, where it would be talking about, hey, this is the game experience. This is what it's like at Ohio State when you're in front of 108,000 people. Now it's saying, hey, it's kind of a quiet. It's like U2 playing a concert in a little private hall, because now you get an opportunity to really break things down with these kids and their families, one-on-one, much more intimate setting, and a lot of kids are taking advantage of it. I think because of the nature of recruiting and how big it's gotten, right now you see a lot of kids sort of retreating from that and wanting to go into more of that shutdown mode once their senior season starts, especially. And so they're taking the opportunity to make these visits now, commit early, and be done, sign in December, and not have to deal with guys like me on social media anymore.
This past Friday, Ohio State with a one-day camp, and at that camp in Columbus, several Toledo area kids competing, including Whitmer quarterback Riley Keller, who we're going to hear a lot about Riley Keller over the next couple of years. We've already heard quite a bit about All-State as a sophomore going into his junior year. Now is when his recruiting process is really heating up.
Yeah, this is an important summer for Riley. It's sort of the summer for these kids when your recruiting goes from lukewarm to pretty hot. And for Riley, he was at West Virginia a week ago. He's at Ohio State on Friday of this week, and then he's at North Carolina today. He's going to Alabama next week. It's a really big opportunity for a really good player to show teams around the country that he's able to compete against the best of the best in these camps. And he told me on last week, I visited with him and his dad, and you know, he's not really a camp guy. He doesn't love the camp setting. He's much better when the lights are on. But he really did a nice job at Ohio State on Friday. I think right now schools are just waiting to see how he develops physically, and if he can grow a little bit. He's still in that 6'1" range. But he's a nice, solid 205 pounds. And, you know, his cousin's Ben Roethlisberger, his dad's 6'4". You figure that the genetics are there for him to keep growing and keep improving. And as long as Whitmer keeps winning games and he keeps being the leader there, you're going to see big opportunities for Riley Keller coming.
Yeah, Riley just one of several Panthers who are at that camp, but Riley kind of the big name right now, and you're going to have more on Riley coming up later this week on LettermanRow.com. Jeremy Birmingham, recruiting expert for LettermanRow.com, thank you for joining us.